911 dispatchers, what was a time you had to contain your laughter? A woman called 911 demanding that a man sitting on her favorite park bench be removed by the police. She was told misuse of 911 is a crime, but she called back 2 more times. Not sure whatever became of her, but I would imagine she got a big fine. Teenager attempted to get police because there was a monster chicken walking around behind a gate at someone's house. Turns out he didn't know what turkeys looked like. We had an absolutely crazy lady calling him from a disconnected cell phone on a regular basis for a while. We could never get a good location out of her or from the phone itself, so we were never able to send anyone out to check on her. One night she called in, and since it was slow and always a good time, those of us not doing anything clicked in on the line to listen. She was ranting and raving, and the caretaker who had her was one of the sweetest, nicest people you ever wanted to meet. Eventually she asks where she lives, and the woman replied with, "I live on Sesame Street," and without missing a beat the caretaker responded, "Well ma'am, can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?" We all collectively lost it. Thank God for noise cancelling mix lol. She called back later that morning and we were able to get her to sing Schoolhouse Rock with us. It was fantastic. I still think about her on a regular basis. We never were able to track her down. I hope wherever she is she's gotten the help she needed. Some lady called me asking if we could have a unit house sit for her while she went on vacation for a week. I told her we don't do that. She'd need to hire someone or ask family to help out. She got all angry and huffed and puffed at me saying I don't understand anything. She simply wanted them to stay in her house, watch the dogs, and make sure no one tried to break in as an off-duty job. I once again said we don't do off-duty work in civilian homes, and she angrily hung up on me. I still think back to it and laugh. People are weird. Not dispatch, but I used to code ambulance runs for billing to insurance/patient, and we had to read all of the reports. With that in mind, I have seen a lot of strange stuff, but I think my favorite WTF one was the patient whose primary complaint was bleeding from the anus. When my guys got them to the ambulance, they found out that the patient's current partner had, for reasons that I still have questions about, somehow gotten a rather large vegetable shoved up there, like a vegetable larger than my fist, and the bleeding was from attempts to remove it at home with various utensils. After several failed attempts, they finally decided to call 911 and get professional help. I still don't know how the EMTs kept a straight face for that one. Call came in. Guy was chasing down a vehicle on some backcountry road because the teenagers in the other car had thrown a block of cheese at my caller and hit him in the head. I confirmed it multiple times before I typed that out. Block, not slice. Dispatcher put it out over the radio to officers and then the sheriff all called in and confirmed that yes, we said a block of cheese. I'm in California, not Wisconsin. Who carries spare cheese with them? Not a 911 dispatcher. I was hospital desk security during 2020 to 2021. One night shift at like 3 AM I'm sitting at my desk when this woman frantically dragged her child in and was full on blubbering/crying because she has an inoperable brain tumor that needs to be confirmed and a miracle worker specialist need to be called in. The neuro department is not open at 3 AM so obviously they don't have an appointment. I try to direct her to the ER, which is a separate entrance, all while trying to get info from her because how does she know that she has an inoperable brain tumor if it hasn't already been confirmed/diagnosed eventually? Because I'm not moving fast enough, even though literally the only option I could give her was go to the ER. She decides to give me her proof. Guys, it was all just references to Grey's Anatomy episodes. She was just showing me pics and videos on her phone from Grey's Anatomy episodes because she woke up in the middle of the night with a headache and assumed that she needed miracle neurosurgery in the middle of the night. TBH, it was a lot funnier than it sounds. This woman, at least a decade older than me, was not only insisting she had a tumor because of a TV show, but she was also including some very colorful commentary about the actor's attractiveness. Maybe because it was 3 AM. Maybe it was because my soul was exhausted. Maybe it was because I was being forced to look at way too many shirtless pics of guys pretending to be doctors for a living. But it was so hard to keep a straight face. And when she finally left to go to the ER, my partner and I laughed so hard we were crying and dry heaving. I'm the one who called 911. But I'm pretty sure they found it hilarious that my mom got beat up by a spider, considering the fact that all the doctors and nurses laughed too. There was a spider on the ceiling, and I begged my mom to kill it. So she got on a chair and hit it. It fell to the door. She stepped off the chair and instantly fractured 4 spots in her foot. The fucking spider still survived. My wife asked me to take down the curtains in the bedroom. Running late. I said when I get home. So she got a chair and tried to do it herself. Chair toppled and she finished up wedged between the bed and the bedside cabinet. She hurt her back and couldn't move, but fortunately she brought the phone down with her and dialed 999. The ambulance crew entered the house to be confronted by a large, protective German Shepherd, so called the police, who sent a dog handler. He enticed her into the other bedroom and shut her in, but they could not get her down the stairs and called the fire brigade. I was out on a job and couldn't be reached. When I got back, the boss told me with the words it would have been cheaper to get the fire brigade to take the curtains down in the first place. I made a dispatcher stifle a laugh once after I called them for my friend who went to a party in college and didn't realize he ate pot brownies. He was a weed virgin and had no clue what was happening, so he walked back to our residence hall, knocked on my door, then pulls his shirt off and says, "Feel my heart. Is it beating for you? I think there's a maggot in there. It's hitting me." I was like, "Are you having a stroke?" Called 911, and he's in the background talking about how the popcorn ceiling in my room isn't really popcorn, but if we heated the room maybe the pieces would pop. And then he got right behind me and was like, "Don't tell my mom if I die. She'll be sad." The dispatcher is trying to talk and he's like, "Oh no," in the background. I started to put 2 and 2 together that he probably just took something, and the dispatcher was like, "Okay, yeah, ask him if he's taken something." My uncle had a pair of mischievous dogs when he was younger. Pre-cell phone days, they learned how to call 911 on the landline. People showed up and played with them. From then on, when he was at work, they'd call 911 at least once a day for attention. I'm sure the dispatchers all got a big laugh constantly over that and were likely jealous they didn't get to have a work time play date with some silly dogs. I've told this story before, but I'll tell it again. I was in training and picked up a 911 call from a guy who just found his brother dead from a suicide. Old boy suck started a Taurus judge loaded with .410 slugs. The brother calmly says, "I just found my brother and he shot himself in the head." My trainer was having a conversation with a deputy who was about to start his shift, and I repeat what the caller had said. "You said he shot himself in the head." Without missing a beat, my trainer goes, "Or he just got his first suicide." As if it was like I was growing up right in front of her and I about lost it. I don't know why it was so funny to me, but the way she said it was hilarious. I had to stifle my laughter so this boy who just found his brother dead couldn't hear me. I felt awful, but couldn't help myself. We got deputies and medics out to the house to confirm, and sure enough, he ate a slug. When they lifted him off the pillow he was laying on, they said the back of his skull was completely blown out and there was just blood and brain matter laying in a ball on the pillow. The other time that stands out was the time I got a call from a gas station attendant who said there was a guy in the parking lot of the gas station bleeding from the anus. I don't know how I didn't lose it on the phone, but I couldn't help it on the radio because I had a deputy making a lewd hand gesture out of the corner of my eye while I was trying to dispatch the call. Got a deputy and medics to him, and come to find out he and his girlfriend are homeless staying inside tent near the gas station. Decided to play a little hide and seek with a cucumber. When she inserted the cucumber in his rectum, he flinched and she broke the cucumber off inside him and they couldn't get it out.